Three different people, three different answers on Mike McDaniel and if the Browns hired him. If you're just joining us today, Lime and I, without even saying anything to each other, it's almost like Boondock Saints. We just stared at each other and we knew. I got a feeling it's going to be Mike McDaniel. And Lime was like, yeah, I got a feeling it's going to be Mike McDaniel.
I just think he's going to look better.
Got a feeling. I don't know if it's a bad feeling, but I
think he's going to, when you start doing the comparisons one-on-one, plus I think he will blow away the interview part of this.
So I did get a text. There was a, how do I put it, a big NFL personality was listening to Around the AFC North.
Mm-hmm. Solomon Wilcots.
No. And that person said, you got to be kidding me.
Sal Paolantonio.
Wow. Sal Pal.
No, not Sal Pal. I would just deny it anyway, whoever it is. So that isn't going to work with me. Said, teams were the softest in the NFL.
Oh, Ron Jaworski, come on.
Right, it's right. Guys, I'm reading this. It's right. It wasn't Ron Jaworski.
John Clayton?
I used to love his breakdowns.
R.I.P.
He put the safety back on, for the love of God. Said his teams were the softest in the NFL. That's not an AFC North head coach.
Is that the cold thing? Is this about the weather?
Said I don't know. It's a big NFL person.
Well, it's interesting.
And they said his teams were the softest in the NFL. You can't. That's not an AFC North coach. That's what they said.
Did they lose in cold weather games because the coach didn't know how to instruct them how to stay warm, or did they lose because their quarterback just wasn't good enough?
His ankles were shivering, Anthony.
Well, then we got it. Then, damn it, give him
socks for that.
Give him some common sense and get him to dress a little more warmly. All right.
That is what the average fan would say. They weren't good in the cold. How can he play in Cleveland? But then, if he were in Cleveland, he would be practicing in the cold every day.
Would he, or would they go inside? Because we used to have those fights way back in the day.
We've had a bunch of coaches do that.
Remember that? Oh, they're practicing indoors. They're not ready for the cold weather.
He's from Denver. He grew up there.
What does that mean?
He was a ball boy. He's used to cold.
But it's snowy in Denver. Is it as cold as it is here?
Sometimes it can feel like 60 degrees, but be snowing.
The mountains turn blue when it's icy cold. That's how you know. And so
get that silver bullet offense out there.
There were a lot of people on social media, including Gresh, who had said, from New England, who had said he can't coach in cold weather.
I think every coach... And really every player.
That's where we're at right now, everybody.
We distill our criticisms or our praise on like three things. Yeah. And with McDaniel, it's what he looks like, what he wears.
Yeah.
Okay, on game days. And can't coach in the cold.
They did go in Arrowhead, 2 years ago, maybe 3 seasons ago, and just got demolished, and it was freezing out.
And their guys looked cold.
Yes.
But what would be the coaching? Tell me what you would have to do to coach him to be warmer.
It would
bring chili out to the sideline.
It would stand to reason. Guys, they're in South Beach. They're in Miami Gardens, Florida. It would stand to reason in the month of December they're going to be a little chilly going to the Midwest or northern part of the country. It's just common sense. And by the way, my dad's a Dolphins fan. I can tell you this, and any person who's a Dolphins fan will tell you, the Dolphins have a history of not playing well in the month of December.
But also the heat is supposed to be their advantage early in the season. They even do it with where they put
I understand that.
The opposing team.
But they're known to not play well in the month. I don't think that's just a Mike McDaniel thing. Now, I am trying to put, I will admit, I'm trying to put a sunny disposition on this because I think they're going to hire him as the head coach. And I'll tell you that my reasoning is coming up here in a month.
Sunny weather.
And I'm sure, I'd hope he'd be good in sunny weather.
So we'll be good in the home opener and maybe week
seasons.
3, and that's it.
And that weird one in late October where
we get a beautiful day, but the Browns are out of it.
That's true.
And yet the place is half empty because they're golfing. You know, David Njoku played his college football in Miami. And then
he goes shirtless in the pregame for us.
So there has to be more to it than the coach and how they coach the team. Come on. On whether their body temperature is where it needs to be.
Just goes back to it. I told you we should only interview abominable snowmen.
Yeah,
that's it.
You've been
consistent. Not interviewing the right people. We are just not doing it the right way. Typical Browns, not interviewing abominable snowmen. Yeah, but this person is saying that they're soft, or that his teams were soft, and that you can't be that way in the AFC North, which that is textbook. This is guys, this is an NFL person. This is not like a guy I met over at Chuggers in Streetsboro. All right, like this is. Just had a kitchen fire. Hopefully they get that going again. Good God. This isn't like a person at the end of the bar. I'm just letting you know.
Is it Fireman Ed?
No,
that's an NFL person.
Get out of here. Almost gave you the finger on YouTube.
How would he do in the cold?
Fireman Ed? Mm-hmm. Did he retire again from being a fan? How do you retire from being a fan again is beyond me. But did he retire again?
Because he put off the Hall of Fame enshrinement 5 years?
Who knows? I don't know.
Well, it's the health insurance, guys.
Mm-hmm. So the reasons I think it's going to be Mike McDaniel, and this is why I just flatly disagree with you, and I can't believe it is. And I'm not trying to be Mr. Football Guy here. I just can't believe that you think that these jobs are really comparable in terms of Browns Steelers. This is a weird role reversal for me. I thought usually at the outset of this, and I'm not doing this just as a gag on the show, guys. I got to believe this, is you have security. If you're a head coach, you have security of your vision, of you being able to attain your vision as a head coach. Because you get into the business not for the money, you get into the business for the glory, then the money comes with it. And so you have a vision of what you want to do. And you want to add your name to the pantheon of the three great coaches that they have, especially the first great coach that they have, which I didn't realize had they beat the Browns that day, Mike Tomlin would have the franchise record. He would have beaten Chuck Noll out for the franchise record, which is incredible.
So he kept him out of the history books.
Kept him out. But you have this franchise that you know that the owners, and people think that the best teams are where the owners just go away. People think that this is the weird thing about the Rooneys, is that they send their kids, they start out, if they want to be involved in the team, they got to do the scouting, they got to do all the work, they make them do all these things. The stories are legendary about Art Rooney and sending his kids on the car rides and things like that with their scouts back in the day. You have to be involved in it. They're just a very patient group. That's what they are. And I think they do let their people work, but I also think that they want to be kept on everything of what their family business is with their football team. Okay. It's a better job because the roster is not that much better than the Browns. I will agree with you on that, but you have time, and you're not going to be sitting there looking over your shoulder wondering about whether or not you're going to get fired, having to answer every Monday morning to things that you do with not just the Browns, but a bunch of other franchises.
How do we know that this next coach who could, right now, I think they are put behind the eight ball. I think they could be bad next year. How do we know that they're going to have time?
I understand
the other coaches won immediately.
Because
this coach, I can tell you right now, this coach is not going to win immediately.
It's the Steelers, and I think that they understand what they're looking at. Mike Tomlin, I guarantee you, I don't think that this just happened. It would surprise me if this just happened on a whim. I guarantee you, I told you, good coaches, some of them, they know when they're ready to walk away. Now, some stay at the fair too long. Bill Belichick stayed at the fair too long. Pete Carroll stayed at the fair too long. But a guy like Mike Tomlin, I told you about this with high school guys and college guys. They see what's coming, and they've been around for 20 years. They've been around for 15 years. And they go, it's time to go. It's time for me to walk away and let somebody else deal with this. And you look at their future, I agree with you. I think that they're set to win 5 games next year, 6 games next year, something like that. I think Mike Tomlin knows that, and I think that the Pittsburgh Steelers ownership knows that. And so they're going to be pretty understanding about who the next head coach is. And that's not the type of thing that you get, because you could look at the Browns and go, I think the Browns are going to win 5 or 6 games next year. Are fans going to be, is the ownership going to be understanding of that? Are we really going to be understanding? Because if they win 5 or 6 games next year, guess who goes next year? And if that person goes next year, then guess what we're getting ready to do all over again? So that's already an advantage. It's a better job. Our job looked worse yesterday afternoon at 2:05 p.m. It's just the plain and simple facts. I'm a Browns fan. I want what's best for the Browns. I want them to win. You know that. But I think you're lying to yourself, Anthony.
Will you revisit that if the Browns have more wins next year than the Steelers?
As far as what? If it's a better job?
Was this really the better job? Because I think the Browns are, I actually think this is crazy that they've been so bad the last 2 years.
I'm setting myself up to be the biggest heel in Cleveland history.
I think
you're setting me up to be the biggest bastard ever.
I think the Browns, with better coaching and any sliver of better quarterback play, with the schedule that they have for next year, which now, if you add it up, I think 8 of the 17 games will be against new head coaches. In their spot? 8 of the 17 teams are in transition that you're going up against this year, and already you have on paper one of the easiest schedules in the league. I think it could be plug and play where the next Browns head coach with a little bit better quarterback play, better special teams play, will be able to win 8 games as a starter. As a starter, they could come in and win 8 games. Pittsburgh, I don't think that's the case.
If you're just joining us, you're going to think you're in Bizarro World. I do not believe that this is a better job than the Pittsburgh Steelers. Lima does.
People think on these debate shows that we host here on the
Flip a coin. We should do flip a coin during Summer Hack Topics.
The new version of Crossfire that our producers get us into a room beforehand and go, what do you think on this topic? What do you think on that topic? Oh, you agree? Let's move on to the next one. What do you think about this one?
No one's getting into a room and we're doing that. That's not happening.
Oh, there are people that believe that. Oh, Anthony, you're the foil. You have to say the opposite of what Ken says, which has happened. I mean, there's no doubt.
Well, yeah, naturally we're going to disagree with each other, and this is a topic that we disagree with each other.
We don't like each other. We have different ideas on things.
I'm really surprised that you think that this is a better job than the Pittsburgh Steelers job. If it's a better job than the Pittsburgh Steelers job, then keep going up the ladder. Why don't you make the case that it's the best job in the NFL?
Put it this way. I don't think there's like the easiest runway to a magical fix for the Browns. They've got their work cut out for them. But Pittsburgh, I think, is in worse shape. I think at least our defense, at least as long as Myles Garrett looks like he's in his prime, and holy cow, did he look like he was in his prime last year, and who's to say he could even have a better year next year? Not just sacks, but I'm talking overall win rates, especially if they're playing for a winner, especially if they're playing with a lead.
It's going to be
and he has more opportunities to go after the passer in the fourth quarter while teams are trying to come from behind. I'm just saying, look, that offensive line is tough. Getting Shador to play better or having another quarterback compete or drafting whatever, that still has to get figured out. But, man, I would look at their situation and compare it to the Steelers, who are old and expensive on that defense. Aaron Rodgers couldn't play the position at a playoff level because he couldn't move. You just can't play the QB position in 2026 like that. And that came crashing down. Who do they have on offense? Who do they have? And then TJ Watt, did it not look like he's on the downside of his career already? And Cam Hayward looks like he could be on the doorstep of retiring.
Are you ready for this, Owen? Ready for Champions Pose?
I guess.
It's going to be one of the easiest wins I've ever had. What do you think of the Browns' quarterback situation? What do you think of Shador Sanders? What do you think of Shador Sanders?
I think he needs a lot of work.
You think he needs a lot of work. So you said the Browns can win more games next year, even though you don't think Shador Sanders is good.
Better special teams alone wins him maybe 3 more games.
Okay. And you think the Browns are going to win more games next year?
Yes. I think Steelers are going to be bad.
But they still have a quarterback issue.
So do the Steelers.
So you're definitely going to get more than 1 year as the Pittsburgh Steelers head coach. I can't guarantee you're going to get more than 1 year as the Cleveland Browns head coach. So that already is right there because of what I'm about to say.
Last coach got 6 years.
If you get... The last coach got 6 years because he went to the playoffs year 1. That's why the last coach got 6 years.
The last 3 Steelers coaches got a long runway. Last 2 especially, because they won right away.
That's the Steelers head coaches.
This Steeler coach will not win right away. That's not the Cleveland
Browns head coaches. Well, I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm going to tell you this right now. You get more wins than the Pittsburgh Steelers next year, you better be a playoff team next year, because that's the only way that you win this argument. Because if they get a better draft pick than us, they're going to take a quarterback, and you don't believe in any of our quarterbacks. So guess who wins this argument, buddy boy? It's me, because they ain't going to go after 1 year. They're going to have way more than 1 year. They're probably going to have 2 or 3 because they're going to draft their quarterback. So who's the one sitting back and laughing while we're sitting there in purgatory again?
Well,
if you believe that Shedeur sucks, which you do, or you believe that he needs a lot of work, I don't
he
want
might
to
not win the quarterback competition. I don't know that Shedeur's going to win a quarterback competition.
Now he's not going to win the quarterback competition. So you want to put more eggs in what? The Deshaun Watson basket?
Because the whole point is, with a new head coach coming in, maybe he looks at that room and says, "No, we have to upgrade." And maybe that's what the Haslams needed to hear.
Well, upgrade to what?
To a better quarterback.
Okay, where are we going to go find out? We go shake the quarterback tree?
Statistically, DTR would have had a better year last year. And
so what are we going to do?
He's in Orlando right now.
So what are we going to do? We going to trade up draft picks for Dante Moore? Why do the Jets want out of that pick? You want to keep going up for Dante Moore? How much you want to give up for Dante Moore?
Everything you're saying.
You want to take Ty Simpson?
Everything you're saying. Keep going with names. Everything you're saying,
throwing names at
it's going to apply to the Steelers because they are just as desperate.
But the Steelers, what I'm pointing out is that whoever becomes the head coach of the Steelers is naturally going to have more time because history is on my side. They're going to have more time to get it right. So they're not going to feel like they're under the gun to get it right. Because again, I told you, you can win 6 or 7 or 8 games next year and his ass could still be fired because Andrew Berry probably wouldn't be here after next year. That's my entire issue with this.
And we revisit this in a year when the Browns have a better record than the Steelers. And Steeler fans are going, maybe we shouldn't have gotten rid of Mike Tomlin.
If they have a better record than the Steelers, then I'm serious, you better hope and pray. You better pray that Shedeur Sanders is the answer, or that Deshaun Watson has found it, or that they traded for Mac Jones and he is gangbusters. You better not just hope that they are like 1 win or 2 wins better than the Steelers. If you think the Steelers are going to be a 5-win football team, you better hope that they're a legitimate playoff team, because if they're not and the Steelers get Arch Manning, I'm just going to want to go dig a hole and stand in it for the rest of my life. If the Steelers end up getting Lenoris Sellers and we still have this, I'm going to want to go walk out into the swamp behind my house and never return. Do we get this? These are both builds. The Steelers are a build. You are right. The Browns are a build. You are right. The rosters are very similar to each other. But if you end up with a better record than them, they could end up winning in the long term, because our guy may still get fired and we're sitting there spinning our wheels, and whoever they get, whether it be Chris Shula or God knows who, might have the biggest runway in the world. The biggest runway in the world. I don't think you're seeing the forest for the trees here. Is that neither of these, I think, are playoff teams next season. Neither of them. The only team the Ravens are the only team that are replacing a coach to go to the playoffs next year. That's it. Neither of these are playoff teams next season. And if you end up just going to a 6-win team next year, and they're a 5-win team or a 4-win team, well, then you're going to have more hell over it than a little bit, and we will all pay the fiddler in 2027 and 2028 and the great beyond for years and years and years and years and years. Only telling you the truth, brother. Let me get to Paul in Canton. He's next up on the Fan. Paul, good morning.
Hey, good evening, guys. Good morning, rather. How you guys doing? Good.
Hi.
Well, hey, I was reaching out to you guys. I think I want to elevate. I would elevate Swartz because Tomlin looks like, he quit. So then there's that contract thing. Rather, the Steelers even let him talk. But I am a Ravens hater. I hate the Ravens. I have family members who are Baltimore fans, and I hate them for it. But for me, so nothing would make me happier than to get Harbaugh to, a hometown guy. He brings credibility, confidence, all of those things, and just beat the brakes off the Ravens twice a year. But I think just from an honest, look, I think time is, the game is passing by. We beat the Steelers 13-6, and it wasn't a fluke. The Ravens lost, dropping 24 points. Their quarterback got them the lead twice in 3 minutes. And what failed him is the 2 phases of the game that's supposed to be good for him, which is special teams and defense. And they had failed him multiple times that game, and including that kick out of bounds. But it's a microcosm. He wouldn't have had that job if Lamar Jackson hadn't saved his job his rookie year. And then you look and you say, wow, why does this guy got to keep having his job saved? Why did he keep blowing all these leads? And so if the quarterback ain't coming with him, it just seems that like
all fair points. But would you pick any one of these coaches over John Harbaugh then?
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I would take Harbaugh. I'm a Cleveland Browns fan, so I would take Harbaugh. But
understood.
Break, like it looks. I seen that. I'm old enough to see the game passed by Ditka, Joe Gibbs, Parcells, Belichick, even Walsh, and he has an over reliance on bad coordinators. He's over loyal to them. Who does that sound like?
I listen. I agree with you on all, but I really don't agree with you on Bill Walsh. I think that final year at Stanford was as good as it's going to get for a place like that when he was taking it over. Either way, it's still, this is the time of year. I can't go back and, Paul, thank you for the call. I thought it was a great one. I can't go back and pick and choose other coaches in history. I can only go from this year. And if John Harbaugh was able to get into a room, the whole thing is you make John Harbaugh stay until he can sign some. I'm not talking about taking him hostage like DeAndre Jordan, for crying out loud, but you make him an offer that he absolutely cannot turn down.